Hello. Here comes the robot. This Craig
Even
robot.
Craig is on drag queen time.
Hey everyone, and welcome to a very special episode of The Legend of Nat 1. In this episode, we're going to be dissecting, disseminating, investigating each episode that we have released this year. And to do that, we are joined by the entire cast, including our fantastic producer slash editor slash GIF master, Brandon. There's also a mysterious central voice in the chat that you don't know yet, but he's coming. Let's go around the table.
Hello, I'm the mysterious voice.
Do you have a name,
Well,
mysterious voice?
I didn't think we were introducing me.
Okay.
Oh, yes, we are.
Yeah, it's too late now.
Just your name, not character yet. Let's leave the character for later.
Okay, cool. So hello, world. My name is Pavel, and what else do I say?
Blood
Whatever you
type
want.
AB, how many centimeters tall you are. What else is in an anime spread?
Oh, right. I am 30 years old. I am a cis white male.
But don't hold it against him.
We're
But don't hold
canceled.
it against me, please.
Darn it.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault.
It's not my fault. Or is it? I don't know. It's not. I got married to the most amazing person ever, Allie, and that was 2 years ago. Yeah, I guess that's it. I'm in a master's program right now, and that's ending in May, so I'm excited. Sometimes I'll sketch, and I'm working on like a comic book, I guess. I've played D&D for a long time. Germán was actually my first good DM. And I will forever be grateful. And yeah, that's me. I guess that's it.
Excellent.
Brandon, would you like to introduce yourself?
Absolutely.
Tell us more about you, baby.
My Alexa's going off right now, and I don't know why. Hold on 1 second. Echo, stop.
And that's all you need to know about Brandon.
Faceless woman.
He's constantly under attack by technology.
Constantly. And my mic wasn't working right before this recording. It's because now I upgraded, and now I got 2 screens. But about me. Hi, I'm Brandon. I am the editor slash producer slash apparently sassy GIF giving, GIF to gifts. I don't know why my gifts are so sassy that they are. About me, I am mostly behind the scenes, but I guess a good idea would be also for us to talk about how we all met each other and our experience with D&D. I guess that would give it all podcast related. Anyway, I worked with Germán, and Germán was the person who literally took me and my virgin self into the world of D&D and gave me my own mini campaign to let me understand the mechanics of D&D in the middle of work of a slow day.
Yes, I am that coworker who brings Dungeons and Dragons supplies and will make everyone play during lunch. I am that.
Amazing.
Yes,
Boss
and it
makes
was-
a dollar, you make a dime. That's why you play D&D on company time.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Yep.
It was so great. That was the greatest lunch. I was just like, oh, this is so fun. It was like, hey, you got to do work. I was like, shut up. I am a dragon-born bard. You don't understand. So yeah, that was my introduction to D&D. That and yeah, and then I was like, hey, now I edit. And then Germán was like, you want to edit? And then Shane was like, hey, I saw you at one of your parties. You want to edit? I was like, okay, I'll edit. And now I'm here.
And
that's-
you are our lifesaver, for the record. We had nothing but piles and piles of audio before you came into our lives.
And I see the audio, and I'm also impressed how many episodes we did off of single episodes where y'all went on entire sprees of recording. I'm like, this is amazing. But that was, I think,
3 hours of content in one block.
Yeah. But more so, I think this was more of a lifesaver because 2020 has been crappy, and I was just like, I need something to do to fill my time. And then, hey, a podcast dropped into my life.
It's also like nice to hear other people's voices regularly.
Yeah. I feel like I know you all so well, yet I spend more time listening to y'all than actually talking to us. So it's so weird. So it's like sometimes I talk, I'm like, oh wait, I don't know you that well yet. Oops. But yeah, it's been great. And y'all all have taught me to be a better editor because all the problems that come up during editing.
We are a piecemeal operation.
Absolutely. So, next.
So, Rick, you made your first appearance last Tuesday, actually. We're recording this the Sunday after Rick's episode came out. I was so excited to have you on. You know, you're one of the best boys in all the city, and I'm so glad that you made it. And I want to tell us a little bit more about yourself. I know we already did this, but just to say hello. And
Sure.
for the first time, entirely out of character. I think this today we're not doing any character stuff. So
Yes. My name is
But
Rick.
Rick's always a character.
Yeah, and absolutely,
much,
just
yeah.
to jump in real quick, out of recording, he's the only person who breaks the fourth wall and talks to the DM as character. I was like, wait, this
Who needs fourth walls? My name is Rick. I live in New York. Germán was also my first real big DM. And I played in his games for a couple years and then went rogue and started DMing some of my own. But now I'm back to be a part of this wonderful podcast. I am currently in school for a second degree, a computer science degree. And I enjoy being sassy women in my off time, so here I am.
And we enjoy
And-
you being a sassy woman as well.
I
Yeah,
know.
there is no shortage of sass when Quitana is in the room.
When any of Rick's alter egos are in the room, I would argue.
Listen, I'm
is
just
true.
playing to my strength.
Indeed. And girl, it works.
So I guess I'll go next. The fans have probably had more than enough of me, but I'm Shane, and today I play no one because it's a recap episode. Haha.
got us.
Because we finally got into the swing of things and realized that our audio quality isn't necessarily great in some of the earlier episodes, and just figured if people were here for Rick's sass or Pavel's mystery, they could jump in now. But the way that I've met this group is that I used to work for the Russians, doing what Russians do, which is making sure everybody is drunk. And although I had already known Germán and I brought him in to the restaurant because we needed help and he needed work. And then I come upstairs one day and there's Germán and Pavel and a couple of other kids playing D&D in the upstairs of this Russian gay bar. And things haven't changed all that much because that is pretty accurate to my life now, too.
Another instance of me playing D&D at work.
I'm noticing a trend.
It's almost as if we need escapism from capitalism. Who thought? Who would have known?
I mean, you said it.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I am a very tiny hobbit-looking little person who is trying to... Oh, I shouldn't say it like that. I am short. That was
You're
bad
beautiful.
phrasing. But I meant like I look like I fit. I would be a Middle-earth innkeeper and recently married. We just celebrated our first anniversary. So, yay. Just gonna steal some of Pavel's thunder because it's newer. Ha ha ha.
Yay!
Yeah.
Do we clap?
Uh,
I want to
I
clap for
freely
Although-
give you my thunder.
Oh, see,
Yay.
Pavel, then you go and do magnanimous stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm the douchebag. But I guess that's just because I'm the douchebag. But yeah,
See,
I love this
is why this is why you put up with his cis white straight male self.
group.
Thank
And
you.
I absolutely love playing with y'all. Like Brandon's the newest addition to like our little circle, but we have played quite a few campaigns together at this point. Some with varying flavors. I
Varying levels of
remember
disgustingness.
Mhm.
But never lacking in murderous children. You will never be lacking in murderous teenage kids.
I will never forget that. Fucking
No.
little urchins.
Mhm.
Yeah, that lives
Mm.
rent free in my mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love the idea.
I
of-
mean, there was the time that Rick flushed the butthole. There
Mhm.
was
Oh,
we
God.
fought a giant baby and had to cut its umbilical cord.
Shane,
Ermon's
can I just say, when I said disgusting campaigns, that is literally exactly what I was thinking of. That
I
exact
knew it
scene.
was.
Remember
knew
the
it was.
nuns? The nuns with the purple juice and Julia Child becoming a building?
Listen, I was just gonna say, let's calm it down here because we don't want to give away no spoilers for what else Germán might have
coming.
planned later in
Yeah.
the campaign.
So the way that Ermon's DMing works that we've found is that whenever Ermon has an inner demon he needs to work through, or even a bad dream, we just have to literally fight it. It becomes a combat encounter.
And that's like a pretty healthy form of free therapy.
It is.
No, it really is.
I mean-
It really is.
You guys have been saving me $1 on my medical insurance
Three
copay.
cheers for mental health.
And then we broadcast those mental health sessions to the world to listen to. So you're welcome, listeners.
Speaking of which, I wanted to also not only recap the good old days, but the most recent days where we released 11 episodes this year. It was a lot of work, a lot of tears, a lot of
Woo!
wigs
Can I clap?
catching.
No
Oh, wait.
clapping.
We did.
Before-
I wanted to take
Before we
turns.
get into the recap, though, just remember, listeners, if you want to find out what flushing the butthole meant, you can send Erman an email at thelegendofnat1@gmail.com.
God. You know, I'm gonna make that.
I hope-
comment.
I
I
think
just
that's a
hope that
new
you
meme.
get 50 emails of that. But yes, we should recap the show we're on.
But
We're
before
gonna-
we do that, I just
Yeah.
really want to say we need to create like 20 different memes with different images that all just say "flush the butthole" to really throw people off.
Yes. I mean, if you're gay or dabble in the back door, you know what it means.
I'm still confusion. But you said before we do something, Germán, go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. I
Right.
was just gonna say we're gonna take turns looking at the episodes we released this year, and doing a little bit of reminiscing. What's the word?
Reminiscing.
Reminiscing.
Ah, I did it right. Yay me! I got a golden star. Okay, so I'll kick off the recapping, which was gonna be a clip show, but like we don't know how to do the clips, so.
I mean, given enough
Well-
time, I might just figure it out.
Yeah, we didn't want to torture Brandon, was really what it was.
Oh yeah, a clip show. Let's wait until we have better equipment for that. We need better software to make it easier. I'm guessing. So the story starts with episode 1, a birthday party. The Last Dawn was a destructive event that killed millions and forever stained the sky. 17 years later, a nomadic community is trying to get by when the embers of war rekindle. They put their faith in a gruff mountain man, a scrawny bookworm, and their chosen champion. Plenty of cockroach milk, too. So, this is the first episode we ever released. Near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, very first. Fuck yeah.
But there is one part of that episode that I really, really, I can never not laugh at it when it happens. It's Rufus's accent. Because I remember that day we were talking about like, oh, what's a character voice going to be like? And Shane already had his whole thing set up. Same did Ben. But then Dave, who plays Rufus, was like, well, I don't know, guys. I'm going to just, pull something out last minute. And he did. And it was amazing.
How did it go, Germán? It was like, oh gosh. Rufus, like it's just like it was like random Arnold Schwarzenegger noises, but somehow also Scottish.
Yeah, it was
amazing.
That is a perfect description.
Nailed it.
But yeah, that was the very first episode. I was so happy that it came out the way it did. I feel like when I had people listen to it, when we were doing like shameless self-promoting, that intro with the drum beating, and I don't know who picked that song, but whichever y'all picked that song was just perfect. While the dramatic lore dump is being put on everyone, it gets you very much in there.
And you guys recorded that session in person, right?
Yeah, we did up to like episode 7 or 8
in person.
Maybe even more. Actually, I think the first Discord recording was episode 11.
Yes. Because we were meeting we started recording last November, maybe. So like way before the pandemic, but we never had like the capacity to put them together into like, working episodes until May.
Oh yeah.
Oh
we
goodness,
used to meet in Dave's apartment out on Roosevelt Island, which is just like an alternate dimension from New York.
Woof.
Whoa.
And sitting around Ben Wells's table mic that he gave us. So it was an adventure each time.
Jesus.
Indeed.
I think that just totally dawned on me how all of that audio was already recorded. And holy crap, we kind of just started recording after we was all like locked in. Oh my gosh, wow.
All right, but this is a recap, not just a reminisce. So Germán, what we found out, Rufus has a crazy accent and he's a big beefy boy. We found out Randall is a bookworm, and we found out that Sylas is, well, faking it till he's making it. So what else is episode 1 about for you?
Episode 1 also was the day that we did our big 2 or 3 minute exposition of the game, and it came out great. I mean, we did a few takes because some of the words, like I have this bad habit of writing things that I've seen in novels before and that I see often on paper, but I never know how to pronounce. And that specific intro part was full of those words. So we had to do a few takes of it, and in the end, Dave was the one who recorded it.
I'd be that way sometimes.
All right, Rick, how about you take us up to episode 2?
All right. In episode 2, we have our first encounter with some Fafsen agents. The community must defend itself against the Fafsen enrollers, intent on recruiting them. While Randall urges for a cautious approach, Sylas tries to negotiate, and Rufus, of course, does what he does best and beats some people up. I think the highlight of that episode had to be Sylas becoming a clockatrice whisperer and meeting his favorite clockatrice champion.
All right, I just want to point out still that, like, just because you put your head near their head doesn't mean you're putting your head on the blade, okay? Like, there's a side of their beak, and you can nuzzle it safely. I'm standing by that.
Nope. Everything happens on profile, so I'm sorry, Shane. I don't make the rules.
Yeah, in my headcanon, you got fucking you got cleaved in twain by that cockatrice.
Absolutely. I imagine you high speed headbutting it for love.
You just have like anime, like blood streaming down your face, and just like everything's fine. What are you guys?
But thanks to the powers of long resting, he took a nap and he was fine the next day.
Absolutely.
That is how injury works in D&D.
Half of your head was definitely bandaged, though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you need to have some cool war wounds, so I'm sure. Like, yeah, I'm still wearing the bandages. I look like damn, who's that villain from Kenshin?
Shishio.
Yeah,
I knew you would be my guy who knew it, Pavel.
And speaking of Pavel, would you like to go take us back to episode 3?
Boy, would I? Yeah, I would.
Tell us everything you remember from being there.
Yeah, I remember so much. It was a room, like a lot of rooms, 4 walls, a floor. So the name of the episode is Ella's Moving Community, which I hope is a Easter egg to Hal's Moving Castle, which makes me happy on a personal level.
You know it is.
He said the thing.
I said the thing. So I love that. After repelling the enrollers that Rick talked about, there are some repercussions. Randall learns to think like a Fafson, I guess. Sylas keeps the community spirits high, and Rufus navigates harmful terrain. So this was cool. I liked the Dragon Ball Z-esque the Dragon Ball sensor or tracker or whatever it's called. I forgot now. Yeah, the FAFSA bit, which in my mind was like a Tamagotchi, and then somebody had mentioned how, like, I think you had mentioned that there was radar on it, and immediately, yes, Dragon Ball Z is where my mind went. But yeah, I mean, like, listening to the episode, I mean, it's been a while since I listened to it, but this was cool because it for me, it really, like, the first few episodes were exposition heavy, and it was like, well, you know, like, what is the world? Now you're seeing what the characters are like. What is it like for these people to live in this world? And especially, you know, like Rufus going through a blasted landscape using his dope ranger stuff was like, you know, it helped to really flush out the world. So for me, that's what this episode was. It was like it was lifting the fog of war around the community and exploring the world a bit.
Yeah, I agree. It was like the first time that they got to like get out there and do more exploring, I guess. Let's see.
You know what? It's
Just-
also, I think, where we kind of like cemented what we wanted as our tone for the music and how we wanted it to be like very tribal oriented and very like expansive with these windswept dunes and barren areas. So I thought like that was it really set the tone for me.
And fun fact, I'm glad that Pavel pointed out the names of the episodes because I literally just messaged Shane the other day and I said, Shane, I'm loving all the puns and the names. Feel free to break copyright law. I don't care at this point. Just make it.
Just a heads up, guys. We gotta kind of stick and move here because we're starting to run out of time.
Alrighty. Then let's move on to the next episode. Brandon?
Hello. Speaking of breaking copyright, episode 4, A New Hope. The group finds a not quite abandoned fast-food facility. Could this be a community's new home? Rufus charges into battle, and Randall fights to save Sylas's life. This is when they were moving on to find like a new place for everyone to move to. I think for me personally, which I guess would be, I don't know if it's like the boring editing side, but I guess because I was listening to the episodes as like I was, a listener instead of the editor. So I was like, what's going on? What's happening? My goodness, it's crazy how they're doing this. And around this time is when I finally got it, where I stopped treating your story like a fantasy and then moved over, like what Shane just said about the music tone. I moved it over to post-apocalyptic, and I understood that. I was going to say the F word, which is Fallout, but I was like, oh, I get it now.
I totally heard you say it as post-apop apocalyptic, and I'm totally down. That's our musical style now. Apocalyptic.
Apocalyptic. I'm here for it. Yes, I love it. But
I
yeah,
love it.
that's what I got from it. It was less Avatar: The Last Airbender and more Legend of Korra. That makes sense.
I like that. That's a very good way to put it. And I think my favorite part of that episode was the description of the community. It took me a while to get that right, and I was very happy with the way it came out. But yeah, that was a fun, fight-heavy episode. The next episode, number 5, is the one with the cockroach mine in it, and I love this one. Let me do the description real quick. In the search of a new home for the community, the group explores a facility occupied by a patrol of enrollers. Randall examines FAFSA technology, Sylas hones his craft, and Rufus goes in swinging, as usual. But the best part of this episode was when Randall finds a blob of raw cockroach milk and just shoves it into Silas's mouth. I love that little moment. It was amazing.
Because cockroach milk saves lives, apparently.
Absolutely. It's like drinking raw cow milk. You might get sick. You might gain the proteins to work your day. Roll the dice.
So the 6th episode for me, I called it "All Your Base Are Belong to Us," because the internet is a lovely place. In that one, because we were still fighting to secure this new facility, things started to look more promising. Marjorie took a minecart for a spin that was Sylas all dolled up in what a friend of mine has since referred to as, so you're doing orc face now, are ya? So,
Woof.
yeah, oops. It was a life or death situation. I just have to keep remembering that, okay, they are unequivocally the bad guys. Rufus sprung into action, and Randall made soup via Thunderwave. So that was that was it.
Just like Grandma used to make.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I do,
but it was
feel
fun
like
because
sorry.
Yeah, I feel like we found our stride in the 3 characters. Oops, that they won't be the same 3 characters moving on throughout the rest of the series. But it was fun team building, and I know that Germán, you love when we save the day via cross-dressing.
I mean, don't everyone love it when the day is saved by cross-dressing? It's a great skill to have.
Yeah, I want to say that I want to call out Sylas, not Shane, but Sylas. When he was talking about free range cockroach farming, I was like, where else would cockroach be? I'm so confused. What do you want from the cockroaches? But this is also my hatred of bugs, and he was trying to protect them. But that was
listen, don't make fun. Sometimes the cockroach farming industry is really exploitative, and the in-house cockroaches just don't get to scurry about the way they would want to.
That's very true.
Shaking my head. No, please.
They have very small. They raise them in very small cages, the size of a thimble. Very
yeah,
sad.
it's really just inhumane. That's why I swore off cockroach in general.
Oh my god. But next episode is even better than cockroach milk. This is the episode that Rick makes his initial appearance.
It's episode 7, entitled Fallout. We get to see the community move into its new home in FAFSA Facility 25. And Sylas and Manuela, an important figure in the community, get to have a little heart-to-heart. Randall identifies a new threat, while Rufus, the real star of the episode, eats a rock. Meanwhile, in we get to take a little peek at one of my favorite characters. I can't imagine, who it might be. I'm just kidding. It's Quitana. That's why it's exciting. But we get to see a little teaser for her coming up and see a little bit of the inside of FAFSA Facility.
So what I loved about this episode, Rick, is that you and I had not coordinated at all in our characters.
Mhm.
And then we find out that both are sort of living double identities because Quitana is pretending to be meek to like rise in the ranks. And so I just love that it was a completely unprompted and like, no, we're all fakers here. And I look forward to finding out some terrible, terrible things about Pavel's character, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I got so many faces, my head's like a disco ball, so I'm just, again, playing to my strengths.
Damn. Beautiful.
Yeah, that is why we brought Rick on the podcast right there.
And what is it? Was it going to be the four of you playing?
So it's a long story, and Ben and Dave unfortunately couldn't keep up or couldn't continue with the responsibilities of the podcast. Ben had to move away to California, and Dave was just overloaded with work at the time. So they found ways to in-game step away and keep the door open for when they free up, they'll be coming back. So one day we may have a full table, all five of you sitting there. Who knows?
Cool.
But
Yeah.
also, let's just say what everyone's thinking. This is like when you break up with somebody and then get a hotter new main squeeze. We're the upgraded version, so
I mean, for sure you are. That's not a question.
I'm only
Yeah.
talking shit because I don't actually talk to Ben or David very much. I'm sure it'll be very awkward once we do come together.
And I will say that I really appreciate that we've taken a self-care first policy with this project, prioritizing mental health and the fact that like we all have our own burdens. So
Absolutely.
I'm just saying that if either of you two who are much more charismatic than me need to step away for self-care so I can be the brightest star in the room again, I mean that's just something to consider.
Okay, well, speaking of which, episode 8, Nil Versailles Die. This was interesting for me as a listener because I wasn't aware of what was happening behind the scenes, but in this episode, it seemed like. So Shane, you talked about how you guys were like getting aligned with like your characters, and this episode actually it felt like your characters like teamwork was not there yet. Like you guys. It seemed like you were all kind of going in different directions because the episode was about like you guys disposing the soldiers that you killed from FAFSA, and then you got attacked by Nil. So you sent your NPC friends off to the side, and then in our mind palace of combat, you sort of like kited the enemies, and it was a little bit of D&D mechanics and a little bit of like narrative storytelling, which is interesting, and I feel like it's definitely one of the struggles with sort of playing D&D in this form. And I think Germán, in this episode, you came up with a rule for ranged attacks or like ranged descriptions.
Oh yeah, we had to. This was the episode that really like brought in the awareness of like, oh shit, we don't have a board anymore. And the way that we play D&D normally is not going to work here. And this is where we kind of like worked a little bit on it. And I feel like the new system works well for what we're doing. But yeah, it was rough.
Yeah. And it seemed like there were a lot of kind of people going in different directions, not just literally, but also like with their intentions. So there was a little bit of that friction, I think, between the characters, which was interesting for me to like hear as a listener.
But now we won't have any friction because it's not like anybody wants to literally enslave the entire world within the group.
Enslave is a really strong word. She is bringing order.
Did someone hear that? I could have sworn Quitana just for a moment.
Then we have episode 9. It's called Dirty Filthy Sex. Again, Shane, love the name. And in this episode, after the battle, the group heal up, take a little nap, like Rick said. You just take a nap in D&D, and all of your wounds magically close. That's how things work. And they explore a little bit around the area where they found those nil zombie people, and they find some rotten seats in a watering filter building, and then Yara presents Rufus with a new weapon. Sylas receives the group's next mission, which is to find those seeds so that the community can use them for long-lasting nutrition and crops. My favorite part of that episode was when I realized that I can start giving them magical items. The magical items are fun. And I'm like, this is not D&D. They don't have to wait for loot. We want shiny, fun things to use for the podcast. So I'm like, fuck it. Let's open up the loot boxes. I mean, not loot boxes, but like loot chests.
No, it's always fun to have more stuff. So please, as someone who recently received an OP sorting character, more random OP loot nonsense. I'm down.
I also just want to point out that as someone who has spent too much money on a gacha game, if you want to put some loot boxes in here, you could probably sell me on that concept.
Oh, God. Here, get your 5-star weapons. But they're
Damn
gonna
it.
be.
Why do I keep getting 3-star nunchucks? Come
I
on.
am triggered.
I was gonna say they're gonna be 5-star blow darts and 5-star daggers. Very powerful, but no one can use them. Brandon, you want to take us to the next one?
Absolutely. Episode 10, which is Humans, Centipedes, which is a great name. For this episode, the group utilizes fast-fin technology to find a source of palm seeds. Rufus leads the way through the waste. Sylas brings the thunder. Randall finds evidence of a world-shattering event. For this episode, I enjoyed editing it mostly because at this point, this is the point where I figured out a new method for editing for me, which was like making little markers and cutting out parts where there's like silence and stuff like that. And usually like Shane goes through and have like this list of notes, and I feel like we had got to a point where it's like, oh, this is so much easier now because I had learned to trust Shane, really. Where it's just like I was like, I know he put these notes, but like before it was like, I know he put these notes, but I'm going to listen to every single second just to be sure. But now I like, let me go to the points that you mentioned first and put little marks here as I listen to it. But yeah, I got to a point where it's much easier for me to edit. And this was a very interesting episode. Giant as centipedes attacking, and I had the realization that the characters could die, which I guess was a forewarning, when he made an explosion where the bugs could fall on top of Randall. And I was like, holy crap. Oh, they could lose. And the end part where they come to the realization, I don't want to keep saying fallout, but in this term, I'm using the term literally, where whatever event happened across the waters, the fallout is now, they're in the vicinity to be affected by it. Whatever leftover magical radiation it is. But they're close enough to be affected by whatever happened over there. And that is quite concerning. And also, you got respect points there, Aman, because for a moment, not for a moment, but my mind pulled out a little bit to make me think of the entire world and not just where the characters are standing. And I was like, oh, shit. So, yeah, that was.
Yeah, we had a moment at the end of that episode where, like, what you hear isn't Sylas being incredulous, it's Shane being like, wait, what? What?
Right.
How bad was this? Because I remember us making little maps and us being on a whole different continent from where this happened. Oh, it was that bad, huh?
Yeah.
But then we move to episode 11, and things get so much worse. It's one of my favorite episodes, but it's very much a sad boy episode. I called it 1,000 Needles, which, if you don't get the reference, I'm very sad. But things head south quickly for our heroes on their mission to the Fafsen granary. Randall follows a new lead and promptly exits the group off camera. Oof. Rufus faces off with a guardian, which was a big old plant monster, and he literally, he lit a torch, got its attention, and took it away from Sylas so that Sylas wouldn't be all deadified, and now Rufus might be deadified. And as I recall, the episode ended with Sylas just Kylo Renning up a wall a little bit because that was a bad day. But yeah, Rufus got to exit in style. We knew going into the episode that both Ben and Dave were leaving, and it just so happened that it timed on the same episode. But I really applaud you, Germán, because that is all I knew about the episode going into it was, hey, there were these issues, and now our cast is changing a little bit. But I thought it was beautifully done, that it didn't feel super forced, but at the same time, sometimes in D&D you have to get to a certain point for the story to work.
So, fun fact, Dave and I had spoken that was going to be his last day because, again, lack of time. But we never really talked about how he was going to leave. I thought he was just going to step out at the end of the session and be like, "Hey, I'm sorry, I can't do the voice. Hey, Sylas, I have to get out to go hunt something or whatever." I don't know.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah,
Yarr.
I can't do the voice. Then immediately does the voice.
But it came. I also altered the combat a little bit so it was easier than it was planned originally because it was just 2 of you instead of 3. But I'm glad
and we still lost.
Yeah, easier.
Dave saw the opportunity to step in and use that as his exit point and left it in a very dramatic cliffhangy way, which I really appreciate. That was all on the spot, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that the way that went down is what solidified for me some of the decisions about where Sylas is going in character growth, as far as both emotionally and his build. So that'll be interesting. I am very sad not to min-max Sylas, but I think it's gonna fit for him. And Rufus went with such a punch, Ugh, I get jitters. I'm so into it.
That was also one of my favorite episodes to edit because not only did I didn't know what was going on. I was like, where are the characters? What's going on? Because by the time I came on, these episodes were already recorded. Y'all already knew about it. So when you mentioned it, I'd be like, what are you talking about? And then I got to it. I was like, oh, people are gone. He might be dead. I'm so confused. What is happening? Yeah. And then on top of that, I had fun editing all these dramatic moments, and I got to edit your thing on oh my goodness, now I can't remember the other podcast you did at the very beginning. The podcast intro for the other one. I can't remember it now. God damn it. I feel bad, and I love doing it.
Oh, the opening. This is when we got the opening song? Was it this late?
No, it was when Shane did. Every episode, Shane was doing a different podcast. I don't know if people have noticed.
It's American Life.
This is the serial one. Yeah,
serial one. It made me laugh recording, and I was like, well, I gotta punch this up. I have to. This is funny.
Yeah, I was listening to our show in the shower because I always listen to the new episodes, and when you stole the serial's music for the background of that gag, I almost slipped and died. So it was a good time.
The mark of true comedy, almost dying.
Yeah.
And speaking of people dying, episode 12 is entitled Dead Fafsins Tell No Tales.
Segue master.
I know, right? I saw that and I was like, ooh, I gotta take it. And in fact, I love this episode because it's where Quitana makes her full entrance. Unfortunately, it turns out that she is so powerful and so deadly that she killed our Discord recording bot, and we lost a little bit of audio. We tried to replace it with a semi-scripted scene, so
Which immediately went off the rails.
which immediately went off the rails, as D&D does. But again, thank you for bearing with us as we handle some extra technical difficulties due to the pandemic. But in this episode, in the semi-scripted part, Sylas gets a tiny little chance to breathe before a new group arrives at the granary, including Quitana. And she is forced to make a very difficult judgment call. I'm sure you can't tell what happened based off the title of the episode. And later, Sylas and Quitana get some time to meet each other, bond, and go back to the community to discuss their meeting.
Just in case that's a little unclear, because I feel so bad that we lost the audio and then kind of had to make up for it. Rick, what's your impression of what happened in that lost audio, the original?
The high pass is essentially that Quitana came to meet Sylas with a small retinue of enforcers under her. She's a part of the Fasten structure. Those enrollers, unfortunately and foolishly, decided that they didn't really want to listen to Quitana. Maybe it's because she's a woman, maybe it's because they're incompetent, I don't know. We can't really ask them because they paid the price for that betrayal. And Quitana chose to go ahead and move on to greener pastures, find some new people to work under her and help her achieve her goals. And Sylas was right there, full of talent, impressionable, and able to be commanded. So,
and that is exactly what I was going to say.
Boy, when you say it, it sounds just terrible, huh? You have mastered that. It is an art when you do it.
I don't know what you mean. I thought that was very gently put.
But yeah, and I really I was so sad that we lost that content, because in the lost audio we really get to see the realization of all the soldiers when they realize that Quitana is definitely not that girl, and she has never been that girl that she was portrayed as back in the military outposts. And when they realize that not only she is like a very independent, stern person, but she also is powerful. And like I remember, like at one point, one of them like had fallen down of his clockatrich, and Kitana's like standing over him, swinging one of her second level spells, which was the first person to get a second level spell. And it's like, oh shit! So this is how it goes, huh? And then Quitana does something sassy and like dominant, and he just dies in bottom.
Yeah, and I think one of the key parts there too is that the enrollers really were rather surprised by her prowess, given that within the Fasten structure she has to, as Sylas mentioned before, play as if she's a lot more meek and kind of listen to the higher ups. But once she's out in the field and able to act more autonomously, her true self comes forward.
And her true self is apparently a holier-than-thou, literally, cleric who can give extra attack actions to people, and it did not go well for those poor Fafsen.
Yeah, she likes to tell people what to do, and I share that quality with her. So,
Oh, I didn't even realize that they're the whole seeing how Quitana fights. Because cleric, even though you said cleric, that's the last thing I would have thought of. Like, oh, is she a fighter? It sounds like she's some type of murderer. Is there a murderer class? I don't know.
Gosh, the other thing that I think we lost, although I can't imagine it's going to come back like into the story, because it seemed like one of those loose threads that just gets lost is I remember Sylas not wanting Quitana to do all the murder. And so we settled on, okay, I will just remove his tongue with my mace.
Very
Which
cleanly.
also just is...
That's not... No.
Yeah, so...
Is it me? Did Quitana come in again? It's so weird that I could have sworn it was just us, and then she just appears magically.
Pops in and out, you know.
We're all Quitana. Like
There's
we're
a little
all Spartacus.
Quitana in all of us.
Oh, there it is.
Put that in
Because
a Christmas
Quitana is a
tree.
top. We agree on that, right?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it came
Yeah.
up in conversation what her sexuality was, and Rick was just like, "Nah, she's just a top."
But like, it really doesn't matter whether she's the pitcher or catcher in the situation. She just is very much in control. That's all she really cares about.
Oh, yeah, that's what I like. I think.
Yeah.
Dom. I guess she's a Dom. That's
Yes.
the term. Anyways, those are the episodes that have been released so far. Because of the time skip that we did there in episode 12, the next few episodes, well, we have a little holiday special coming your way next month, celebrating Three Kings Day. All details will be on the episode. And after that, we're going to be doing the Granary, where we get to know Pavel a little better and his character. And we have a little bit of a musical puzzle coming up, and I'm just very excited for next year and how this project is going to keep growing and how we're all going to keep growing as artists and as podcasters. We're going to all have fancy mics and headsets and like Ariana Grande ponytails on.
And again, I just want to thank our listeners for bearing with us as we've had some roster changes and some lost audio, and so we're kind of trying to just wrap stuff up here so that if you are just joining us, you have a firm idea where we came from. And if you have been with us all along, thank you again, and just enjoy a little extra commentary.
Yes. Also, I'd like to thank you guys, even though Rick and Pavel are new. Like in 2020, this terrible, terrible year, we launched a podcast and we've been like doing it. It's like, this is so cool. So also pat yourselves on the back for the characters and Germán for being a DM and making this world, and everyone just showing up. Like we're all like here right now, talking to each other, doing this. You're all great. So give yourself a little more credit. And yeah, you guys are great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's
Great.
Can I say that one of my favorite things about my husband, who you all know is a drag queen and particularly has been in a number of pageants, is how the ability to accept a compliment, just thank you. Yes, very, very stately, like, yes, I deserve this. Thank you very much. But Brandon, I also just thank you. Thank you for being a big part of our podcast and for making us sound not terrible, because I listen to the raw audio and it's atrocious, as we find our way until you gussy it up, put the makeup on, bring out the color in our cheeks, and send us off to prom.
Oh, thank you.
I also wanted to say real quick, I always hated how every time like YouTubers or like small TV hosts or whatever, when they say, "Oh my God, thank you so much, guys," but we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for our editor. The show wouldn't be here without them. And I always rolled my eyes. I'm like, oh my God, just put them on the credits. But then after we have this show, and I realized how like, what's the word I'm looking for? How key it is to have an editor that like is very present and pays attention and like puts in the work. How that makes a huge difference, and like not only the quality but also like keeping a schedule, right? Because we all have to kind of work together with the editor. Like Shane, for example, has been doing the timestamps, and everybody brings in their music. But without the editor, we will all be like trying to figure shit out. And I'm incredibly thankful that we have a very good one.
MVP for sure.
I don't know what to say. I was hoping. I don't know how to take a compliment. So when you cut me off, I was like, "Oh, thank goodness," because I don't know what to say. And then you gave me another compliment. I was like, "Oh, God damn it!" So I'm just gonna do the very much. Thank you, because I always do like, "Oh, I'm not doing enough. I need to be editing right now." And also the time where my laptop just exploded, and I was just like, "Oh, I can't edit for a long time right now."
No.
And
All right.
yeah, I was
So,
thank you for that. It was
You're
great.
welcome, and I really mean that. I really do. But to close up, I wanted to do a cute little moment where we each say one thing that we're looking forward to do or to happen in the podcast. And I'm going to start by saying that I'm very excited about being very gross with a lot of insects and crustaceans.
Oh, I thought we were past this.
Never.
There's never past it. It is an unending cycle.
I am excited to have 2 people to command on the battlefield, and also to get to see Sylas come into his own as our kind of hero here. I'm excited to play adoptive mom and dad with Valen.
You know, I had that same kind of thought when we recorded the last audio. I had the same kind of impression. I'm mainly really excited to play D&D as a player and not a DM. I'm very, very excited about that. I'm also just excited to play with you guys because I miss you all and I love you all, and you literally just bring me joy. And then I guess it's just in terms of the actual game, I'm excited to explore the world and meet new people in this world and see how like our traditional sort of concepts of D&D get flipped on their head when Germán plans a campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is a beautiful sentiment, Pavel, and I love it and agree with all of it. As far as specific to this campaign, well, one, I've been dying to level up and make it to level 4, but I guess all good things in time. But all all the audio that we've recorded previously has all been centered around the community, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it sounds like our next plot arc is going to move away from that setting and go into new other areas of the world to explore, and I'm pretty excited to see that. And kind of like Sylas is too a little bit, I think. Like, hey, I've been a bumpkin my whole life, and now I get to go see the world. It's kind of going to be a big fun deal, and I know that Germán is going to get very creative, especially when it comes to describing food. Like
So-
that.
Before Brandon does his thing, I want to say that next story arc is heavily inspired by my homeland. I'm from the Dominican Republic, and I always wanted to do like a very Caribbean theme game, and I steered away from the pre-Hispanic era. Well, not entirely, but I don't want to do like the Spanish invasion part. I want to avoid that and just focus on the positive, fun parts of my island and all the other Caribbean nations that I have some knowledge of. And I'm very excited about doing that, and I can't wait.
Well, now
I'm
I
also
can't wait.
excited because that's where I'm from in game.
Mm-hmm.
Spoilers! Spoilers!
Ooh, yeah.
That's not a spoiler.
Man of
Yeah, and you just said
mystery.
Caribbean.
All right, I have to bounce because I have 3 finals in the next 48 hours. But
Oh, wait,
Holy
I
shit.
love
let me
you
go.
all.
We love
I'll
you.
give my
Oh,
one things that I like to happen.
Oh
Which
yes, I'm
is-
sorry.
No. Before we go, one, I would like for I can't wait to see the surprises of whatever your guys are going to do, and I can't wait to get that audio. But two, you thought we had technical problems. Now I have visions that going a whole critical role on this shit, where we have like monitors and faces and live recording and Roll20. Oh, I'm going to get crazy. Oh, I'm going to be uncontrolled.
I love it. Oh my god.
Yes.
Yes.
our podcast just leveled up, and we're gonna hit higher CR monsters,
Absolutely.
and that's called video.
That's not fair. Shane has an advantage. She has a makeup artist at home.
I was gonna say, what do we have room in the budget for me to get a makeup artist? Because I'm gonna need my face on.
All right, we can talk about it next time. See you everyone next year. Have fun. Be safe. Don't forget to wash your hands and social distance.
Be kind to yourself.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, and you know what? Considering when this is gonna be coming out, happy holidays if you celebrate, and if you don't celebrate any holidays in particular, then happy December. And I hope that you
Happy
are
New
having a
Year.
good time. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Waiting for this to be done, like it's like we're rolling death saves.
Okay, bye.
Bye, 2020. Bye.
Adios.
Hello there, cool cats and kittens.
While everyone is stuck inside, we hope you are safe and are able to remain as mentally healthy as possible.
There's no shame if you're just sitting on the couch or need some help dealing with the extra pressures Quarantina puts on us all.
Please prioritize your physical and mental health. We love you and we care about you.
We love you and want you to be well.
The Legend of Nat 1, background music by Kevin MacLeod and provided by incompetech.filmmusic.io.
The Legend of Nat 1 theme by David Yarley,
This episode is edited by Brandon Lee.
with assistance by Shane Sherry. Logo by Ben Thwaite.
You can send us an email at thelegendofnat1@gmail.com. That's Nat1 with the number 1. Send us any ideas you have
For treasure, weapons, fan art, weapons,
for loot,
weapons,
questions,
ideas,
etc.
and anything else you may think of. Weapons.
We'd love to hear from you.
We'll love to hear from you. Weapons.